Hi everyone, Mrs. Sapp here. I thought I'd bring you another lesson. Today's is going to be about Claude Monet. I think last week we did Jasper Johns. We were going to do this together if we were in class yesterday, but I modified it a little so you guys could do it at home with whatever supplies you have. So if you have markers, you could get those out. You're going to need maybe three, if you have three different shades of green. That would be great. If you don't have three different shades, you could use a yellow and a green, and a red marker, and a black marker. And if you have like a blue, you could use that one too for the project today. If you have paints at home, you could use watercolor paints. And if you have one of those strips of watercolor paints, all those colors will be in there. Or if you have tempera paint or acrylic paint, you'll need Mama and Dada with you for acrylic paints because they don't come out of clothes. But here's my acrylic paints. I have three different shades of green. You could also do this with colored paper. So if you have green paper or yellow paper and red paper, you could cut strips and do this project. So you can gather your supplies, and you can put me on hold and come back, or you can just listen to me first and then turn it off and go get the stuff and try it yourself, okay? So I'm going to tell you a few things about Claude Monet first before we get going. I'm going to show you his picture. This is what he looked like. Do you remember we talked a couple of times about old photos like that? It kind of tells us how long ago these artists lived. And we're still talking about them today. But this one was a black and white photo, and he looks really old, doesn't he? Almost like Santa Claus. Here he is again. They didn't have color back then, so the photo was black and white. He painted a lot of pictures. One that you might be familiar with is of a pond and some lily pads and a bridge. He painted a lot of those, and I think I've told you before about that painting. If you had class with me last year, I think we made a painting like that. And I told you then that he painted that scene over and over and over and over again so he could get good at it. Plus, he just really liked sitting in his farm, I guess it was, by the pond and just repeating the same painting. He loved it outside. But there's another painting that he created, or series of paintings that he created, of poppies. And poppies are flowers that are red, and they're usually round, circular shape, and they have a black dot in the middle. And then, of course, they have green stems. Most of those paintings that he painted were of poppies in a field, and sometimes they featured people, and sometimes they featured buildings. I'm going to show you two of them right now. This first one is of the poppies in a field, and you can see the woman in them. You can see a house in the background, and I think when we're together we usually talk about these paintings and we ask each other what we see in them. You might notice the pretty blue clouds. But you can also Google Claude Monet with your mom or dad's help, and you can see all the different paintings that he created and all the different poppy paintings he created. Let me show you another one before we get started. This one is just of the poppies itself. And you can see what I was talking about when I said the flower was red, kind of circular in shape, kind of a circle, and then it has a black dot in the middle. So we're going to paint a field of poppies today that looks something like this, okay? So just going to grab my white piece of paper, and I'm going to grab my paints. Excuse me. And we're going to paint the stems. We're going to start with a big, tall one, okay? And then I'm going to use a different color, and I'm going to do a short one. Just one straight line down. You see that? And then we're going to do a medium-size stem with yet another shade of green. If you only have one color of green, that's fine. And then we're going to repeat this pattern of tall, small, and medium. Okay? So, tall, small, and medium. Now, if you don't have paint, you can do the same thing with a marker. Let me show you what I mean. I can do tall, small, and medium. Okay? Tall, small, and medium. Alrighty. And then you're going to put that aside so it can dry for a minute if you're using the paints. If you're just using markers, it doesn't need to dry, right? And then if you have red paper at home, you can get that out. If you don't have red paper and you just have white paper, but you have a red marker, you can just color your paper red like I did. Okay? And now we're going to get our scissors out and we're going to cut circles. They can be the same size circle or they can be different size circles. Do you remember in class when we talk about cutting, we pretend like our scissors is like a ducky? And I say, put the thumb in the top and the 2 feet for the ducky in the bottom, and he goes swimming, swimming, swimming along. Remember, if we turn the ducky's head upside down, he could drown. So we don't want to do that. Use your helping hand to hold on to your paper, and you can just keep turning your paper with your helping hand, and just keep turning and turning and turning, and pretty soon, you'll cut out a circle. If you happen to have a hole punch, or a circle punch rather, at home, like this one, you can even use that. Moms and dads and grandmas, that helps build fine motor. So that's also helpful if you have one of these circle punches and you want to let your kiddo use that. Okay? And then when you get done cutting enough circles or punching enough circles, we're going to glue them with a glue stick. I'm not sure I told you in the beginning you would need a glue stick, but you'll use a glue stick, you'll put glue on the back, and then you'll glue those on the tops of your stems. And they're going to go all the way across all of them. So I'll do that real quickly. Put some more circles on. I think I only cut 4 with you right here, but I'll show you what I mean. I'm just putting glue on the back, and I'm going to put them at the top of those stems that I created. Do you see that? And then in the middle, you can put a little black circle, or you could make a series of lines in the middle, like an X, and put a circle around that. Almost looks like a spider. So circles, circles, and then you would keep going. I think you need a lot of poppies. I've only got 4 here. I didn't cut out a bunch, but you see on this one, I did. Okay? And then when you get done gluing them on, you can either take a crayon or another marker, mine's in blue, and we're going to color the sky. I turned it upside down there, but you're just going to color in everything around the flowers. If you have watercolor paints, you can use your watercolor paints and color blue sky around it. Like I said, if you have oil pastels, you can do that. Crayons or your marker. Now, if you want to pretend you're Claude Monet, you can just do short little brush strokes with your marker even, and just fill in this whole area. I'm going to do it really quickly for you so you don't have to sit there and watch me. But when you get done, you'll have a pretty blue sky. And then there's my poppy painting. Do you see that? It's not really a painting, but it's like Mr. Monet's poppy painting. Mine, they would call them mixed media because I used paint and paper and glue. But it was real fun to make mine because I got the scissors out and I got the paint out and I got my markers out. So if you want to create a poppy painting just like Monet, go for it, okay? I'll see you guys next week.